From True Story, saw an idea of an Xavien Howard for George Kittle trade. I assume you mean George, not George, or however that's pronounced or spelled there. Thoughts? I think the Dolphins would do it, at least consider it. They would then move on from Mike Gesicki. I don't really get it for the Niners side. I know that corner's a need for Miami, and Xavien Howard's an awesome corner. 5 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, but they'd be giving Xavien Howard a new contract, paying him a good amount of money, and also eating a lot of money by trading away George Kittle. The idea of trading away a almost 1,000-yard tight end for a team that loves to use tight ends and Kittle is a perfect fit doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense from an on-field perspective, from a team-building perspective, from a roster construction, from a cap perspective. All that makes me think the Niners say, what are you talking about, my friend? So pick a player. XH for Xavien Howard or JK for George Kittle, or GK. Who would you pick? Let me know. Drop which one you would rather have on your roster.
Let's go to Evan Hinders. What up, my brother? Dolphins should sign Davante Adams and draft Linderbaum. Well, if you get his name right, maybe. Linderbaum doesn't sound nearly as good as Tyler Linderbaum. That guy's the bomb. And yes, I agree with all of these things. However, Davante Adams, I don't see him wanting to go play with Tua. I don't see a lot of top receivers wanting to go play with Miami. And for the simple fact of, yes, they can pay them money, but that's not where I would want to go to try to win games. And then for Linderbaum, if he's available at 29, I think Miami would be dumb not to do it. I just don't think Tyler Linderbaum lasts out of the top 20. Let's go to Trey Bands to make her dance. Thoughts on Miami signing Chase Edmonds? I like Chase Edmonds a lot. In fact, he could be one of your best bang-for-your-buck style of running backs that you could get in free agency. I think he would end up fitting pretty well in what, we'll say, Mike McDaniel is going to try to run down there in Miami. The issue is, how much does Chase Edmonds want, right? Because I feel like he got his shot to be the starter. James Conner was just a better red zone running back. So if he's willing to settle for, we'll say, $4, maybe $5 million a year, if I was a running back, I would love to go to Miami to play in Mike McDaniel's system. However, if I was also a running back, I wouldn't want to play there because the offensive line is still, ugh. So look for nonstop content that isn't, then go ahead and subscribe to Chat Sports. Plus, it's 100% free. So whether you're looking for free agency, draft, trades, we got it all covered. But what makes Chat Sports different than every other channel out there that covers sports, we are an interactive show. So I can give shout-outs to Mariners fan, Dutch Van Deer, Pull Up from 30. I can also give major shout-out to people that I know are always watching our content. So if you want to be featured on a future Chat Sports video, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. So major shout-out to Abel, Terry, and then ADZD. I know you're always watching, and I just wanted to say we appreciate you, and thank you very much.
From Terrence Menace, what is your favorite running back fit for the Dolphins this offseason? All of them? I think for Miami, you don't have to spend big in the market. Now, you could draft somebody. I think someone like a Kyron Williams would be a fantastic draft fit, but you take the best guy in round 2. I'm not going to complain. The whole purpose of adding Mike McDaniel is that you hire someone who doesn't need to spend big at that position. So, look, Fournette could fit. If Rashad Penny's cheap, I like that idea. You know, you could go with a Chase Edmonds, I think would thrive in that offense. Maybe you go super cheap and go after a Jeff Wilson who knows the scheme. That could be an option for Miami as well.
Let's go to James Hinner. What team do you think is a good fit for Penning? So Trevor Penning, I would throw out teams like the Las Vegas Raiders, the Miami Dolphins, the Baltimore Ravens are interesting. Essentially, if you need an offensive tackle and you're from picks, we'll say, I don't know, 14 all the way to the end of the first round, that's in Trevor Penning's range.
Taylor Holland, 2 questions. Okay. Best small school player that could go a little bit earlier than expected. And better comp, Devin Lloyd to Darius Leonard or Nakobe Dean to Roquan Smith-like impact. I like to do my player comps based on like size and measurables. I think they're all actually pretty decent. I think that Lloyd will test better than Darius Leonard ended up testing this past year. If you're looking for, so I'll go Dean and Roquan, and just in terms of, obviously, if you get either of those guys, you're super hyped. Small school guy who's going to go earlier than expected. how early does Christian Watson go out of North Dakota State, the receiver? He could go maybe early day 2. Other very small school guys I could see going early. Trying to think of like maybe names we haven't mentioned before at all here on the channel. Does Tyler Algier count as a small school? Is BYU? Probably not. No. Trevor Penning, we all know he's going to go earlier, so I can't count him from that perspective. But he's a small school, but we're talking earlier than expected. Now, if he goes top 10, I think that'd be earlier. I mentioned Tariq Woolen out of UTSA in my mock draft. I think that's a decent name there. How about Troy Anderson, linebacker from Montana State? Impressed very well at the at the Senior Bowl, and I think will measure well at the Combine as well.
So another quarterback that's got a lot of drama around him, as always, is Baker Mayfield. And is he going to be with the Browns in 2022? Go ahead and type your Y for yes, or you can go ahead and type your N for no. If you want to get a question about Baker Mayfield on the show, the way to do it is use hashtag NFL. Will the Browns have Baker Mayfield? Kind of frame it like that. So Y for yes, N for no. Will Baker Mayfield be with the Browns? So St. Patrick's Day, this might be breaking news to some of y'all. It's March 17th every single year. Every single year. Harrison Graham. So if you guys want to go ahead and get some awesome St. Patrick's Day gear for your favorite NFL team, go to chatsports.com/NFL Green. Every year, and I'm not kidding you when I say this, every year, my girlfriend looks at me and goes, "What do you want to do for St. Patrick's Day?" I'm like, "I don't care. We can do whatever." She's like, "What are you going to wear?" I don't have anything green. I'm going to be honest with you. I never wear anything green. You know what I will wear, though? If it's Raiders-centric or if it's my favorite team or player, I'm going to rep that. And I can then go ahead and rep that on St. Patty's Day. So if you plan on going to a parade, if you plan on going to a party, if you plan on just getting schmacked, then you might as well do it in your favorite team's gear. So go to chatsports.com/NFL Green. We got all sorts of stuff, not just the stuff you saw up on screen. But here's the thing, y'all. It's going to go quick, and if you want to get it before St. Patty's Day, you got to go to chatsports.com/NFL Green. Let's go to Breeze. What do you think about Jermaine Johnson III? I think he's a sleeper in this year's draft. He was a sleeper. Jermaine Johnson about a month ago was going at like 30s range in some mocks. Heck, there were some people that weren't putting him in the first round. Now, when you see Mel Kiper putting Jermaine Johnson at number 13, I don't know if you could be considered a sleeper anymore. He's a good player. He's long, he's lanky, he's a good edge rusher. But if you start going in top 15 of mocks, the whole sleeper category, it's gone and out the window. What position is taking the most the first round of the draft? So which position gets taken the most in the first round of the NFL draft? I'll say offensive tackle, because I could see 5 offensive tackles going in the first round. Quarterback's always going to be thrown out there. Wide receiver, we could see 6 wide receivers go. You know what? I'm gonna go wide receiver. That's going to be my answer. I could see 6 receivers going in the first round of the 2022 NFL draft. All right, y'all, it's your turn to take a guess here. Where will OBJ sign this offseason? He's one of the top wide receivers in free agency. I have him ranked at number 4. Unfortunately, though, for him, he did tear his ACL in the Super Bowl. I almost said national championship game. Where is my head at? So where will OBJ sign this offseason?
From Blood Wolf, thoughts on Drake Jackson for USC? You're banking on the upside. I got my notes done here. I got a second-ish round grade, at least before Combine and stuff. He cut down his weight, dropped 25 pounds his freshman year. The production's always been kind of middling as well, but he's got bend and burst. He's young. He only turns 21 in April. There are flashes of those elite traits, but I don't trust him right now against the run, and he's got to add more power. So I think you gamble on that type of player in day 2. I hated how much USC dropped him into coverage. That was stupid by the Trojans, but I think there's upside there of a nice round 2 pick who emerges as a potential really solid edge 2 in the NFL. For nonstop coverage of NFL free agency, draft, trades, and more, hit that big red button and subscribe today. It is all free here on Chat Sports, and it always will be. So if you haven't already, subscribe right now. ECK Sports, possible teams for Hassan Reddick. I think Seattle would be a great destination. Any team that needs a pass rusher, and there are a lot of them, should have interest in Hassan Reddick. The number 1 fit, though, as far as I'm concerned, he should just go back to Carolina. Like, They need him, and I think should want him, opposite Brian Burns. It'd be a fantastic 1-2 punch, just like it was this past year. I'd go that route. Maybe the Jets or Giants, they want some more pass rush help. Both those teams would be, I would argue, good fits. But any team that needs a pass rusher, it's a good route to go explore. Devin Greathouse, where do you think Watson will sign, be traded to? I don't know. I think Carolina will go all in on him this offseason, but they are a bit light on draft capital. The Eagles and Giants have the picks. Do they want him? There's a lot of concern on that front for Deshaun. He's still, as weird as it's been, in a holding pattern for the past year-ish at this point.
Final question here. It's a super chat coming up from Taylor Holland. Best value free agent signing of the last 5 years that made the biggest impact and the most overplayed and bust of the last 5 years. Yikes. So the best value free agent signing of the last 5 years, dude, I'd have to really sit down. And most overpaid and bust of the last 5 years. Well, the name that comes to my mind right away from a Raiders standpoint is Trent Brown, because they made him the highest paid tackle. They put him on the right side. Essentially paid him $76,000 per snap. So that's an absolute bust. In terms of the most overpaid, can anybody think of a super overpaid or underpaid free agent? That's the thing. Zeke wasn't that. Let me come back to me. Message me on Instagram, Taylor. I'll try to give you a better answer. But going back to the past 5 years is never an easy thing to do.